Hi.
We are live on Facebook.
Hi, Facebook.
Hi, Facebook.
Welcome to Vegas Nonstop with Jonathan Scott. It's the BS with the JS coming at you in 5, 4. Woo! Right ahead. Is what's his name coming? Gigi?
Oh, I don't know.
Jeffrey with a G?
Alrighty.
Is Jeffrey with a G coming?
I haven't talked to him today, but here he is.
Oh, thank
Oh.
goodness!
Just in time for the intro.
You're amazing. Yeah, seriously.
This is Tony, Jeffrey with a G.
Tony, how are you?
All
What
right,
do you
let's see. What do I do?
Yeah.
Nothing. Just talk.
Oh, cute. Entertainer extraordinaire?
Yes.
Do you have another set of headphones?
Huh?
Do you have another set down there?
Nope. That's what it
What's
is.
your name again?
Told you already. You know.
Tony the drummer?
Yeah.
Here we go.
That's right.
Good afternoon, Las Vegas. This is your boy Jeffrey with a G with another live edition of Vegas Nonstop. It's 2 o'clock on Monday. That can only mean one thing. We're here and you're not. We have an unbelievable show for you today to kick off the last month of the year here in December. We have in studio with us entertainer extraordinaire Janine Valentine.
Well, hello there.
We've got right from the UK Tony the drummer.
Ooh.
With me, as always, for the last 17 and a half years, the master of mayhem, the ambassador of fun, and the wizard of whoopee, Jonathan J. Scott.
Thank you, Jeffrey with a G. Line 1, go ahead. Good afternoon, boys and girls, moms and dads, and children of all ages. Welcome to another exciting adventure of Vegas Nonstop on NBC Sports Radio 920 AM.
It's Vegas Nonstop with Jonathan Scott. Vegas Nonstop. Vegas Nonstop.
You forgot Gigi.
With Gigi. We need some harmony there. I'll have to record that.
Tony, do you sing?
No.
Plays the
He
drums.
bangs things for a
Play the
living.
drums, yeah.
What is banging things for a living like?
Oh my lord, that's
Well,
a,
that's a Vegas question if I've ever heard one.
What do you do? Bang things for a living.
I
Oh,
bang
my.
I have dated drummers in the past,
Yeah,
and that's what I
I
said. I was like,
bet.
never date somebody who bangs things for a living.
Oh,
And
okay,
I just
yeah.
want you to know out there.
What's
you
it
know,
like to be the girl singer in a band?
Oh.
Hashtag me too.
I mean, like, Fleetwood Mac would probably be the best example of, incest within a band.
Oh, yep.
Right?
That's right.
Anyway,
And-
Tony Newman, Richard Anthony, Tony Newman, born March 17th. That's St.
Yeah,
Patrick's
it
Day.
is, isn't it? It is, yeah.
Ringo Prague.
From Southampton, Hampshire, England, is an English rock drummer, was at various times a member of the bands Sounds Incorporated, Mayblitz, Three Man Army, T-Rex, and Boxer, has performed with Jeff Beck, David Bowie, George Harrison, Robert Palmer, Eric Clapton, Donovan, Mick Ronson, Gene Vincent, Crystal Gale, the Everly Brothers.
Yeah.
Anybody we've heard of?
No, I don't think so.
My goodness gracious. All right, I'm going to finish reading this up.
Okay.
In 1965, Tony played with Sounds Incorporated as one of the acts opening for the Beatles at Shea Stadium,
I've heard of those guys.
New York.
You heard of them?
Got to start with that. Talk about mayhem.
Yeah, oh, that was something else. Yeah, we came over. It was the first day of the tour with the Beatles, and so we do Shea Stadium. I'll never forget it because we were walking down to do a sound check, and there was a band there just hidden in like a cubby hole, and they were like playing Satisfaction, the Stones. And they looked at us like angrily, like we know what we're doing here. We're different. We're alternative. It was just a weird vibe. And then you go to the stage, and it was miles out on the baseball pitch, and they had like about 4 huge Voice of America speakers. That was it. 4 great bins. So they opened the show, and we'd been touring with the Beatles for a while, so we were sort of used to the screaming, sort of.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Not like a bunch of crazy New Yorkers in Flushing.
No. So anyway, we do the show. We open, we do the show before them, and I'm using Ringo's drum kit, and they
I'm
put
sorry, I have to interrupt you. Who were you playing with at the time when
Oh.
you opened for the Beatles?
Okay, I was playing with a band called Sounds Incorporated.
Thank you.
We started in 1960, ancient times,
Wow.
and we had 3 horns in the band, an organ player, bass guitar, and drums. And we were used a lot by the American acts who came to England, like Mary Wells,
Love
Telephone.
Yeah, tell her. Sorry about
Who's that, McCartney?
Yeah, hi Paul. How you doing, buddy? All right?
Sir Paul.
Yeah, you're nearly as old as I am. Anyway, so we were very popular in England, and we were very fortunate because we worked for all the American acts that came to England. So I got to work with Little Richard and Sam Cooke and Benny King and Jerry Lee Lewis, and frankly, all of my idols.
I was going to say all the icons.
That's right.
Wow.
And there's me from this little tiny town in London playing drums for them. It was just ridiculous, you know. So anyway, we played our set in front of the Beatles and did a drum solo and everything.
The Beatles.
Yeah,
See,
you know.
we've been saying it wrong all this time. We say the Beatles, it's the Beatles.
You know, it's amazing to me that it was over 50 years ago
I know.
that the White Album came out. 50 years ago.
Yeah, I know. It blows my mind. So many of us have departed this life, you know, and it seems like weekly somebody's dropping dead that I knew, you know. And I'm still here, and I feel great, you know. And I did all the rock and roll stuff for years.
The rock and roll lifestyle.
Yeah, it was a real rock and roll life. Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I wanted to say was that we did our set before the Beatles, and when we finished our set, there's as much noise coming from the crowd as when we went on. And the bass player looked over at me. He said, "I really don't know whether they're glad we're leaving or they like us. You know, they got a bit, since we're finished, they're getting a bit close to the Beatles."
I mean, how could anybody even hear anything? The screaming was just ridiculous, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was crazy. And oh man, I can't tell you. The security was ridiculous because all these kids were trying to get on the stage, and the security guards were like dead with lifting these girls back into their seats. I mean, it wasn't like it is now. And
Well,
yet,
there's now, in my generation,
Yeah.
it was, Michael Jackson.
Yes.
You know, the whole Michael Jackson and the
Yeah.
Victory Tour and all that stuff. But nowadays, I have a daughter who listens to K-pop nonstop, Korean pop music.
Oh.
And I told her, I said, you need to Google the Beatles fans and see the kind of reaction that those girls had, because the reaction that these kids have today for this Korean pop music is exactly like the Beatles. They go absolutely bananas. I mean, I've never seen anything like it, only on video, on Google and all that stuff.
Yeah,
but I'm like, oh my God.
yeah. Well, they used to do it for Frank Sinatra. All those years and years and years ago. You know, when Frank was big, they'd have the screaming girls. I didn't know that till later. But I watched my sons, you know, my two youngest sons, and they'd have mosh pits. Have you seen that?
Yeah, no, I don't do that.
No.
Where they just jump into the...
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
they're throwing their arms around, and people are getting knocked out, men and women are getting knocked out, kicked, and that's like, you know, everything's, you motherfuckers, you know, not in time or in tune, but it's real music.
How long had you played before the Shea Stadium as a band?
Oh, about a year.
Wow.
We were, you know, the first gig we did, I turned professional when I was 17, and within like 5 or 6 weeks we got this gig with Gene Vincent, who was a big American star, you know.
What were some of the hits of Gene Vincent?
Bebopaloola.
Bebopaloola, she's my baby.
Yeah.
Bebopaloola, I don't mean maybe.
Bebopaloola, she's my baby.
Bebopaloola,
I don't mind my
baby.
Bebopaloola, she's my baby now.
My baby now, my baby now.
Next week on Vegas Nonstop.
We're just having fun.
Don't listen
Just
to
having
this
fun.
again.
I didn't remember Gene Vincent's song, but yeah, that was it. And the Beatles covered that song.
Probably.
Oh yeah, I think everybody probably covered that
Yeah.
song.
See, we did Hamburg with the Beatles, you know, and that was like the nest of the upcoming Liverpool groups. So we went there with like Little Richard and Gene, went there with Gene Vincent, and it was in the red light district, and all of these bands from Liverpool would go and play, including the Beatles, and they'd do 5 or 6 sets a night, finishing at 4 in the morning.
Wow.
Yeah, and so we got to meet Jerry and the Pacemen, the Searchers, and the Undertakers, and all those Liverpool bands. And of course, everybody's on speed. See, that's the
Oh, is that
thing.
what they were doing?
Oh yeah, it was
Amphetamines?
called Preludin. So everybody's doing yakking away, and the sets are really quick, really quick.
Yeah.
So King Size Taylor recorded the Beatles, and they sold like 150 million copies of this bootleg tape. And there was big litigation from Apple to Ted Taylor, and they offered him money, and George Harrison said, look, we don't really want this out. This isn't a true representation of the Beatles. We'll pay you something, but we can't have this out because we're all umbrellas. It's all fast and teeth graters, Everyone's having a really good time.
Oh
Well,
my God.
Tony and I met at the Smith Center for the Performing Arts with our friend Lon Bronson, who was doing, I don't want to say it was a tribute, but he was doing the music of David Bowie.
That's right.
And you actually performed and recorded with David Bowie, yeah?
Yes, I did, yeah.
That was the name of the album?
Oh, Diamond Dogs and David Live, I did. Yeah, it was one of those good years I was having. I was working, it was a January, and I'd been playing with The Who. I'd been doing the
Who?
The Who?
Who?
Who? Doing the track for Tommy, the movie.
That was a brilliant.
Oh man, it's
track.
Ken Russell. So, I got to play with The Who doing Pinball Wizard.
Right.
And we had the joint jumping. I mean.
With The Who or with Elton John? Or
No, he covered it later, unfortunately.
For the album? For
Yeah,
the movie?
I did some other tracks which I can't remember. So there,
It's all the speed.
It's not the age,
no, there
it's
wasn't.
what's
there-
happening at the time. Right?
Yeah, the Preludin had gone then. It was bat powder by that time,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So what I loved about the Who, they had a wall of cases of Remy Martin. Cases of Remy Martin. So
The cognac.
cognac,
Yes.
yeah.
No, I
fine.
know.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm not sure, Janine. I'm not sure.
Yeah, so that was a great experience. I get a call and they said that a bass player friend of mine said, look, he said, we're in trouble over here. David has recorded with this drummer and he doesn't like what he's done. Will you come over?
Wow.
So I came over and I cut some tracks with David, and him and I just hit it off like $1 million. He was wonderful to work for because I'd ask him what he wanted to do, and we'd sit and play it, and if I changed it around a bit, you'd see him light up. He was like a great receptor of good vibes and like original material. I loved
That
him.
wonderful
Oh,
creative brain.
oh,
That's
yeah,
amazing that you got to
yeah.
work
So-
with him.
So then he asked me to go on the road, and I did. And we did all the American tour with Diamond Dogs, which was a huge show in those days.
Was that before Ziggy Stardust?
After, I think.
After.
Yeah. So I did all that, and I lasted about a year with that, and I got totally burnt out and went on to other things, But it was a wonderful experience. And that band the other night sounded really, really good. And it was amazing to listen to somebody else playing what you've done and how they saw it and how you see it.
Well, it's great that you enjoyed it. We have a plethora, there's my word, we have a
Yeah.
plethora of wonderful musicians
Oh,
here
yeah.
in Las Vegas. So
Yeah, I know you do. It's
that's
good.
great. I'm glad you
Oh.
got to see. Lon Bronson Band is one of the greatest that
Oh,
we've had
wonderful.
for decades here in Vegas.
Well, 28 years. He's had Lon Bronson All Stars for 28 years, which is certainly more than most marriages have lasted.
Both of mine put together.
More than mine.
I'm mine.
Gigi's never been married.
Yeah.
You'll find her, sweetheart.
Hence the smile.
Hence the smell.
I have to ask you about Donovan.
Donovan? Yeah, I was working with the Jet
Mellow
Band.
Yellow. And,
Yeah. What happened there was I was with the Jeff Beck group, with Rod Stewart was in the band, and Nicky Hopkins on piano. Ronnie Wood from the Stones was playing bass.
yeah, I met Ronnie.
And the producer was Mickey Most, and he said, "Would you do a track with Donovan?" So we did a couple of tracks. So it was actually Donovan with the Jeff Beck group, but we were in the studio, so I didn't get to know him very much. We just did that one thing, and they were good tracks. What did we do?
Mellow Yellow.
Gugu Barabajaga was one.
Yeah, easy
Yeah.
for you to say.
You got me there.
That's one that I wouldn't even begin to get close to. Anyway,
Yeah.
we've got Tony Newman in studio. We're going to take our first commercial break. We're going to come back with a little more with Tony. We're going to get with Jeffrey with a G and talk a little bit about NFL. And believe it or not, Tony's an NFL sports fan as well.
Yes.
So stay right where you are listening to Vegas Nonstop here on NBC Sports Radio 920 AM. Stay right where you are.
She knows what she's doing. That's good. Can I get some water?
Oh yeah.
I'll go grab some.
I'll take it.
Agua, 4 to 5
Take one,
hours.
two, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not betting this year yet.
What's that?
I haven't been able to put any bets together for
Why-
football.
why is that?
Well, it's just the handicapping is almost impossible. To me, this year.
I agree.
Do you?
Well, the recent changes in the rules of the game, combined with the stupidity of almost every coach in the NFL and their play calling,
It is an epidemic.
it's
Mulligan, what was it, Mike
McCarthy.
McCarthy got fired last night.
It was the first time in Packers history that they fired a coach mid-season.
I used to watch the Tennessee Titans because I lived in Nashville, so I used to like them.
Right.
With McNair, when they made the Super Bowl and fumbled it at the 1 yard line.
They didn't fumble it. He reached there was Kevin Dyson reaching for the touchdown against Kurt Warner and the Rams.
There you go, gents.
Thank you very much. Oh, some nice ones.
Oh,
Thank
Joe.
you.
You're a gent all the way. It's a jet, not a gent.
Does Tony need to speak a little closer into the microphone? Too
No, I
good.
can always take care of it.
No, you're good? Okay.
If it gets really bad.
Does this say drop?
Deep.
Oh.
Hi.
I was.
Don't let me get this right. You played with the Who
Yes.
on Tommy.
Deep.
Yes, the movie.
Well, it's busy
I
time.
did. I actually cut with the Pinball Wizard when Elton
no.
John
I
came
was
in.
thinking holidays.
That's what I was trying to
So weird.
Yeah, because I sent that track over.
I didn't
Oh, did
expect
you?
That Elton
Thanksgiving
John
to
one.
be busy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I never realized how busy Las Vegas was for Thanksgiving. We had 250,000 people come here for Thanksgiving weekend. And when you start to think about it, it's a 4-day weekend.
Right.
They can go get great turkey dinners at any of the buffets, $50, $60. You don't have to cook. You go see a show. You can gamble. It's a big football day. They come to gamble. I never put it together. This is our first year in our warehouse. We got our dicks kicked in.
Hey, whoa.
Wednesday and Friday.
Hey ho!
Really?
Hey hi! We're coming back?
No.
I
Oh,
was like, what? That was quick.
So how does this work? Are we doing just like little segments, and then you do a break, and then you do some more?
4:50. Yeah, we break on a quarter hour.
Oh, I see. Is this going out live? Or?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah, we're live. Yeah, we're live on Facebook too. We're live on this right now. You want to wave?
Jazz hands.
They can't see you there, but they can see you there.
hello.
So where do you live now?
Spring Mount. I mean, here.
You do?
Chinatown.
No, I don't live in
You
Chinatown.
said Spring Mountain.
Yeah, I know. I'm just.
Yeah, I don't need her address. I mean, unless you want me to send you a Christmas card. But I didn't know you lived in Vegas now. That's awesome.
Yeah. We live Spanish Trails.
Wonderful.
Up there on Tropicana.
Tropicana.
You and the wifey?
Yeah, that's just.
And this is this the number 3 for you?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
I'm twice divorced, so 3 times the charm, right?
Oh well, we've done really well for
Good.
about we've been about 22 years.
I met your wife.
Beautiful.
Yes. She always
Good for
did.
you.
Turn.
Congratulations.
No, Torel.
Terrell.
Yeah, she's Norwegian, but she lived in America.
Gotcha.
Yeah, she-
Well, those Norwegians can drink, can't they?
I don't know.
I don't know about her, but
Not anymore.
Oh, yes,
every
yes.
every Norwegian I ever met was drinking that skull and
Yeah.
anything.
It's not public knowledge.
So
Anyway.
you've got questions for Tony as well, but let's come back with a little sports with Jeffrey.
Sure.
Okay.
We've got Monday Night Football tonight with the Eagles and the Redskins. Is it still -6?
30 guys.
They say
Minus
that
30.
people are getting very insulted about calling them the Redskins. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought it was. It's all right. I thought it
I
was,
like when the Cowboys and the Indians play. Cowboys and the Redskins. Cowboys and Indians. Coming back in a few seconds.
Oh my goodness. What happened with that?
And since I was a young boy,
great track.
I played the Super Bowl. From Soho down to Brighton, I must have played them all. I ain't seen nothing like it.
Jonathan Scott with Vegas Nonstop here on NBC Sports Radio 920 AM. In studio, drummer Tony Newman, who's played on Tommy, has played with Eric Clapton, opened for the Beatles. Just kind of, if Janine would say, a plethora of musicians.
Of icons, not just musicians, of icons.
The English invasion. I would call it the English invasion.
That's
He's
right,
responsible
yeah.
for it.
But Tony also lived in Tennessee, so he's also a Tennessee Titans fan, I found out.
Yes, I am.
And watches
They
American
won
football.
yesterday. They won.
Did
Yesterday.
they?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. It was
Jeffrey
awesome.
with a G.
Yeah.
Want to give us a little wrap up from yesterday's NFL and what's going to be happening tonight?
Well, I mean, we got, we're in week 13, coming toward, actually, week 14 now. Week 13 just ended. Speaking to your Tennessee team, my friend, they did win yesterday, but they didn't look very good against a very bad New York Jets team.
I know it didn't.
It was, they were expected to win by much more,
Yes,
and
that's right.
much easier. You do have a battle in the NFC East tonight, which is going to be an interesting game. Neither team has really played very well this season. You're looking at two average teams, both sitting right around 500. One at 6-5, one at 5-6. The defending champion Eagles have not been able to sort of put together really any sort of a string of consistency on either side of the ball all year, whether it was at the beginning with Nick Foles or now with Carson Wentz. I expect this to be a close game, as it usually is in division rivals this time of year, late in the season. We're already into December. We're towards the last 3-4 weeks of the year. Eagles are currently favored by 5.5 points. We do know that the Redskins lost their starting quarterback, Alex Smith, a few weeks ago. I'll still take the Redskins here, plus 5.5 points to keep it close. I'm sure the Eagles find a way to win by 3 or 4 points, but I do like the Eagles here. The Redskins, rather, with the 5.5, John.
I have to ask how you're doing with the Superbook, because I looked this morning and nobody did really well except for the books.
I was 2-2-1 this week. So
Oh, good.
I was 500, and I remained 6 games above 500 on the season. So I'm tracking right at around 59.5%, 60% right now.
Well, the guy that's in the lead is at over 75%.
Yeah, I know.
75%, this son of a gun is picking the right and goes against the spread. Janine?
Is it just me, or are the NFL teams just all over the place this year? Like, nobody really
Correct.
is very consistent at all. Like, I'm trying to get my bearings and learn the gambling and the terms and this and that, and I'm going, I don't want to waste my money.
Well, it's been a tough year for handicapping. I mean, there was a story in the paper in the RJ this morning.
We were just talking about it. I was saying that with the new league changes and the rules and the way coaches are now calling plays ridiculously, going for 2 on the first touchdown of the game when it's not necessary, it's changing the scoring, it's changing the spreads, whereas 3, 7, and 10 used to be the numbers that you watched for, or 3.5, 7.5, 10.5, or the other way around. You can't rely on that number anymore. It doesn't work.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's tough all the way around. The Bears playing without their quarterback. What was the big news is the Packers head coach getting
First
fired.
time ever in franchise history, the Packers have fired their head coach midseason. Mike McCarthy was let go yesterday.
And do you think it was because of that particular game or the whole season?
I think it's been long before this season. I think it's been for at least 2 or 3 years now. The problem is that a part of the fallout is people are blaming Aaron Rodgers.
What? That's not right. I mean, how do you feel about the firing of this guy, though? You think it's a good move?
Oh, yeah, I think they should have fired him a long time ago.
Okay, well.
Yeah, they have underachieved for a long time. This team has the best quarterback in the game right now, Aaron Rodgers, and he's surrounded by relatively good talent, but yet year after year they're not getting into the playoffs, winning postseason games, moving on to the NFC Championship game. I mean, Rodgers is in the league a good 10-plus years now. He's been to 1 Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And this guy should have been to a lot more with the kind of talent they have on that team.
Well, is there any speculation on who they're bringing on?
I don't know.
Well, they have an
should-
interim coach, but
Yeah, but I mean, down the road, they're going to probably look to bring in some young, up-and-coming coach, very similarly to Josh McDaniel.
Well, maybe you should apply. I mean, you're available, right?
I am.
Now coaching for the Green Bay Packers, Jeffrey with a G.
Would you move
Line
it?
1, go ahead.
I mean, the weather's not great there, but I mean,
Would I move to Green Bay if they wanted to give me the head coaching position? Is that
The
really
frozen
question?
tundra of Lambeau
obviously
Field.
being facetious. I hate to get your hopes up. I'm really sure it's not going to happen, though.
I don't think so, given my resume shows 0 coaching experience.
Sometimes it doesn't matter.
That's a very good point.
Well, looking ahead Thursday, the Jacksonville Jaguars are playing Tony's Tennessee Titans on Thursday Night Football on Fox. Tennessee Titans are favored by 4.5 points, and the over and under is just 37.5 points. Tony, do you watch the team, every week, or?
Well, I try to, but they're so unreliable. It's like my buddies say in Tennessee. They might win, but don't put money on them. Never put money on the Titans.
Well, Jeffrey always says, bet with your brain.
That's smart, not with your heart.
Yeah,
Start now with
that's
your
right.
heart.
That's right.
So, Jeffrey, what do you think of Jaguars against Tennessee Titans for a Thursday night matchup?
I think it's a snoozer. I don't think many people are going to watch the game. It really has no implication on any sort of postseason or division outcome. But I don't know. I'll take Jacksonville +4 just because it feels like a 3-point game.
What is the next set of games or game that you're looking forward to that will actually make a difference?
You're talking about an individual game like coming up on the schedule?
Yeah, like at week 14, regular season. What are we looking at here?
How about your Patriots yesterday?
Well, I think the Rams and the Bears is going to be a great game this weekend. It's going to be the Sunday night game.
Sunday night, my Chicago Bears.
That's got a great. That's got all sorts of playoff implications there. Those are two of the top teams. I'd love to see how a West Coast / dome team like the Rams does in Chicago in the middle of December in that cold, brutal weather.
Tony, go ahead. You have a question?
Oh no!
all right.
I'm just trying to get some tips here so I can win some money.
I know what those glasses are called. Those are called pince-nez.
Pince-nez, yeah, French.
Yeah, those
But
French.
I get them. Yeah, they just go on the back of your phone. See.
There you go.
That's it.
I mean, the surprising Dallas Cowboys suddenly find themselves atop the NFC East. Ever since they acquired Amari Cooper from the Raiders, he has sort of given them a big boost of energy on both sides of the ball. They're playing much better. I think they've won 3 or 4 games in a row.
How come the Bears are not playing Mitchell Trubisky? The shoulder is gone, but it's not his throwing arm.
Well, they don't want to run the risk of him doing more damage to the shoulder, even though it's not his throwing arm. You have to realize, even though he's not throwing with that arm, he is getting under center. He is in the pocket. If that arm's not working great, you have an increased chance of perhaps fumbles or just doing more damage to it. And if it's not necessary, then maybe you don't want to play him.
Well, somebody asked me, and I'm asking you. So.
I mean, I thought New England looked very good at home yesterday against a very solid Minnesota team. I mean, once again, we find ourselves in the beginning of December. Patriots are 9-3. They're going to win 12 or 13 games and will be at the top of the AFC. Kansas City's at 10-2, so we need to make up that one game if the Patriots want to host the AFC Championship in Foxborough, which I think will decide who wins that game.
How about the Steelers giving that game away yesterday to the Chargers?
It's funny you said that, John. We were here on the show last week, and I said Pittsburgh went to Denver last week. They were down by 7 late in the game. They had 1st and goal on the 2. Mike Tomlin calls a series of garbage calls with a guy like John Connor, Antonio Brown, and Ben Roethlisberger in the lineup. He throws a fade to the corner, no good. He runs Connor to the left, no good. And then Big Ben throws a free throw that gets intercepted in the end zone. You take that loss combined with yesterday's loss at home, now this team's on the outside looking in. And in 2 weeks, they went from being the hottest team in the AFC, winners of 5 or 6 in a row, and now they're literally on the outside looking in. And that's where bad coaching causes good teams to not make the playoffs.
Yeah,
I was just going to say, well, why is this plethora going on this year of bad coaches? I mean, have they all got together and say, just give everyone dumb moves?
It was either 2 or 3 years ago where they changed the distance of the extra point. I want to say it was 2 maybe. And ever since then, you have these guys that are the statistical geniuses that sit back and say, well, now that you've moved that extra point further back, the chances of making it are less, whereas they compare the probability of making a 2-point conversion versus an extra point, which still isn't even close. You're still going to be in the 80 percentile on the extra point versus in the high 40s on the 2-point conversion. So you tell me why a coach his team goes down, first drive of the game, they score a touchdown, and he goes for 2. There's no need for it.
Yeah.
They're just
Well, what
the
was
calls
what
are
was
ridiculous.
the need in the first place to change that rule 2 years ago? What?
I like the fact that they changed the rule
Well,
because
tell
the
me why,
extra
though.
point was almost always a gimme. Like,
Okay.
you almost never miss. I think it was like 98.7%.
Right.
By pulling it back, we have seen games where guys are not missing extra points. It's not an automatic. So I think it came down to either we're going to eliminate it or we're going to move it back.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad that they moved it back and didn't eliminate it.
I've never seen 3 chances for the
Oh,
for the field goal at the end of that game.
Wow, that was something else.
And you
wasn't
know
it?
what? Maybe this is the year finally that Phillip Rivers and the Chargers get over that hump where they can go on the road and beat a Pittsburgh, maybe can go on the road and beat a New England. To come back
goes
from
up.
what is it, 23-7 at halftime
That's
last
right.
night
Oh,
in
yeah.
Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
You're a West Coast team on the road in Pittsburgh Sunday night, national audience. You know, I tip my hat to them. They did a great job.
I'd like 2 tickets to Pittsburgh, please. Speaking of which, a couple of announcements. Thursday, December 13th at 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., Sapphire Gentlemen's Club Las Vegas is hosting its own Sweet 16 anniversary party with 2 of my favorite words in a sentence, open bar. With live performances by Boogie Nights. Boogie Nights.
Oh, I love them.
They're fun, right?
They're really fun.
And Hard Knocks, an upscale, lavish buffet offering seductive candy sweets. Sapphire Sweet 16 promises to be the best Sweet 16 party you've ever been to. Sapphire Las Vegas also offers complimentary limo pickup and delivery. That's on Thursday, December 13th, and we're going to be doing our podcast live. So we get to
I'm
look.
not going to be here.
We get to look at boobs.
Damn it.
I love that. I just
I
love
have
that.
my own pair to look at. Thank you very
Well,
much.
why does it always have to be about you? Tomorrow and Thursday, we're going to be at Rockin' Riley's on Las Vegas Boulevard. Jeffrey calls it, like, what do you call it, the best place to watch?
You're on the 50-yard line of the Las Vegas Strip. I mean, it's great. There's TVs everywhere. The drinks are going down smooth. I mean, we always have a good time there.
That's going to be the pre-Golden Knights party. We're going to be there at 5 o'clock Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesday, Golden Knights are playing the Capitals, the defending Stanley Cup champions, and then Thursday playing my Chicago Blackhawks. That's at
Awesome.
Rockin' Riley's. When do you leave?
I'm not going to be there, so
You're not here this week
don't
at all?
bother tuning in, people. I won't.
Hey, don't ever say that.
Nice.
Don't ever say that.
Oh, stop.
Friday, we're going to
People
be
have
at
their own minds.
the world famous Double Down Saloon.
Oh,
When does that new girl start?
Tomorrow. Tomorrow. Yeah, so
Gigi's funny today.
we're going to be at the world famous Double Down Saloon, home of what kind of beverage?
All of them.
The
Ass juice.
Adult?
Ass juice.
I'm
Ass
glad I
juice.
caught myself. I didn't really want to say it because
You
it's
didn't want
really
to say
not a
ass
pleasant
juice?
thing. No.
We're live from the ladies' room at the world famous Double Down Saloon drinking ass juice. That's going to be a Friday at 12:30 in the afternoon. We're going to take a few minutes for some commercial messages, and we're going to be back with more of Vegas Nonstop here on NBC.
well, you're the real deal when it comes to handicapping and information.
What's that?
I'm just saying you're the real deal, you know. I mean, what you were talking about is like way beyond me, you know.
No, not
I
necessarily.
mean, it's statistics. I
He's
know.
way beyond almost all of us.
But
It's just
I
starting
mean, you
to,
know what you're doing.
apparently.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. But
Don't be fooled.
So you were saying your win rate is 57%?
I'm at about 60% this year.
Wow.
Well, you have to be at 53 just to break even because of the juice.
Well, me and my buddy used to gamble all the time Sundays, do 3 and 5 parlays, and we both stopped completely now.
For me, 3 is a sweet spot.
Yeah. I mean, not easy.
A regular 2-team parlay will pay you 2.5 to 1.
Yeah.
A 3-team parlay will pay you 6 to 1.
That's what's good.
4 is too hard to hit.
Yeah.
And I like 3 is like my sweet spot, and I
Okay.
typically bet underdogs.
Okay.
Yeah, mostly.
Last year I hit a 10-team parlay.
What?
Yeah,
You didn't know that?
How is that possible?
for $1.
10 teams.
Wow.
No, yeah, more.
No, I had more than
Yeah,
that.
What
It
did
paid
you?
550 to 1.
that's right.
How much you have on $1,000?
Yeah.
More than that.
What? So
Yeah.
what did you win?
About $3,000.
Nice.
I thought we were going to say 300,000.
Right.
Yeah, I don't bet that big.
I
He does.
I don't think
He
he'd
does.
be here.
He bets bigger than I
Do
do.
you bet? Do you bet?
No.
He's just learning. And he's
Oh.
just
I
learning.
don't have a desire though. I mean, I've lived here 23 years, and I think I've lost $50 total.
Oh, man.
I
But I only sports gamble. I really
Yeah,
don't do any. I don't play
No
any
table
I don't do
games.
tables or any of that other stuff.
He bets college football as well. I just
We should
bet
talk
the
college
NFL.
because now we have the playoffs.
Yeah.
Well, Johnny's going to be on with us next week, next Monday.
Johnny.
Johnny Sack.
They just announced the teams.
I know, for the Vegas Bowl.
That's going to be fun.
Where is
ASU
he,
and
Fresno?
State and ASU, Arizona State. It's going to be a great game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So coming up, it's the
December
15th.
15th, Saturday.
What?
Just looking to see how much time.
Oh, about 2 minutes.
We don't hear anything.
Yeah, it's got
Just look
quiet
at
in
him,
here
just
all
look
of a
at
Yes,
sudden.
I did,
Shocking
yeah,
horror.
well, we're talking.
Sorry.
I'm listening to you.
I
I learned something.
Ditto.
Oh, yeah.
Have the same problem.
Yeah, 10-team parlay
Oh,
was crazy. I turned in the ticket, and the guy behind the case, he's never seen a 10-team parlay
That's
pay,
amazing.
and it's
Did you
just
sign
blind
up for
shit
him?
luck.
Yeah.
I mean, I play the ties win card on the parlay.
Oh,
Huge.
yeah,
It
yeah.
gives you a little bit of an
A
edge.
huge
Yeah.
edge.
Do you do this every week
Uh-huh.
still? Wow. I've stopped it all. Perhaps I'll go and have a little bet
Just
this
throw a
week.
few bucks.
You're better off.
$5 bet or something.
He's like, just put $1 down.
I tell people if they want to bet, take $20.
Yes.
Play a couple parlay cards and have fun.
Yeah.
You know, that's the one way to enjoy it. I have friends, they'll only bet on games that they can watch on TV.
Oh,
That's a great way to handicap.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I
Thursday
tell
night's
people,
a-
I tell people honestly, I don't watch most of the games that I bet
Oh, you don't?
because once I've made that
Yeah,
decision,
yeah.
it's out of my hands.
And I'm the opposite.
Does it make you anxious?
I
Is
have
that
to
why? Or
watch
you're
it.
just like,
No,
That's
no,
why
no.
I'm betting.
No,
It makes
no.
it interesting.
Yeah.
Because I've already done my
1 minute.
homework to make that decision.
right.
After that,
Oh, then-
the outcome is
Complete-
out of my
yeah.
control. So
I mean,
yes, I enjoy
I
watching
enjoy
it.
what when I
do
have
too.
time, but yeah, I enjoy. I was actually at the gym Sunday morning. Sorry,
Buffalo
God,
Bills
I didn't
lost,
go
huh?
to church. I was watching the Rams and Detroit.
Detroit.
Oh my, what? They both offenses started off super strong,
The
and
Rams
then
are the
they
real
just
deal.
fell apart.
Detroit did.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Shit,
they have
30
the first
seconds.
new coach,
Yeah.
first year. They're banged up on injuries and they've lost a lot of players. The hottest team in football is the Houston Texans.
Yes, I do.
Wow.
And I don't bet them. They're not one of my
I'm gonna write
faves.
that down.
9 in a row, Janine.
Wow.
This is a great game. Baltimore against Kansas City.
So who's going to make that? Kansas City?
That's an interesting game. It's about their offense and their defense.
Call or book today. Comfort Care Dental Group.
Who did Baltimore
on 7th
play this
Street off
weekend?
Charleston.
NBC Sports 920 The Game is
Now they beat Atlanta in Atlanta. How bad is this?
Yeah, that's terrible. Oxygen tent. I remember that one.
Yeah.
Simple but effective. On your knees.
Jonathan Scott with Vegas Nonstop here on NBC Sports Radio 920 AM. If you're anywhere near a computer, we're also live on Facebook at Jonathan Scott LV. We're on iTunes, Google Play, Amazon Alexa, Spotify, and at a theater near you. Join us right after the show at Amore Taste of Chicago for our pizza and podcast. And we're just hanging out and having some fun and talking more football and eating. That's what we do.
Oh, eating
Yeah.
meeting.
So joining us in studio, Tony Newman, drummer who's played with T-Rex and just about everybody that you can imagine from the early 60s, British Invasion, Jeff Beck, David Bowie, George Harrison.
George Harrison.
You have a George Harrison story
Uh,
that you can say on the
Yeah, I
air?
was gonna say, I was
No,
gonna say,
no,
P-
no.
make it PG.
Yeah, I don't do all those.
And the Everly Brothers, we have a friend named Adrian Zemed, who's an actor, and his sons are actually touring around the world doing an Everly Brothers tribute.
Are they really?
Yeah, and they're great, and it's really well received, and the music is just terrific.
Oh, the Everly Brothers was just wonderful. You know, I joined them in about 73. And, you know, it was two men, of course. And it sort of, they were just really good to us all. They treated us well. The music was hot. We had an English band, more or less. We had Albert Lee on guitar, Phil Cranham on bass, Pete Winfield on piano. Pete had had a #1 hit with 16 and a Bullet, or 18 with a Bullet. Just, you know, I mean, one of those one-hit wonders.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
either 16 or 18.
Yeah,
but there was a
16, right.
bullet.
Yeah, it was a bullet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where it went, but and yeah, so it was a great band. I really enjoyed it. All the shows were good. You know, I mean, every night, you know, I'd sit behind the drums, and it was very comfortable. And they'd say, "Now, ladies and gentlemen, will you welcome the Everly Brothers?" and you watch them go in and stand together, it puts shivers up your spine. You know, they still had that magic.
Yeah.
And the audience would just melt with them wherever we went, you know. And of course, Phil's dead now, and so his legacy goes on, you know. But that was my last few years of my playing career was with them. So it's sort of a really nice ending, you know.
What about Eric Clapton?
Eric, I worked with George Harrison, and they were big buds, and I did some sessions with them, and George was beautiful. We were always friends, George and I. He, you know, right from the touring days, we'd always talk, and I was close to him. So I saw him in England, and he was a best man for a friend of mine's wedding, and he said to me, you know, he said, look, we're not going to do everything now. We're going to come back and have the formal wedding. Why don't you come over the house? And I said to him, well, look, I don't really want to do that right now. I'll be back next year and we'll get together. And my wife said, what's the matter with you, for God's sake? It's a Beatle, you know.
Yeah.
I said, well, it is what it is. Anyway, he said again, do come over. We might not see each other again. So I went over to his house, which was huge. You know, they had a lake under the house which you could take little boats on.
Oh, wow.
And you
How
could,
cool is that?
Yeah, you could go out to the River Thames. And he told me about the murderer that had come to get him one night.
Murder.
Yeah.
George.
George Harrison's in bed, and he's attacked by this guy with the SWAT team equipment on. He said, George said you couldn't grab hold of him anywhere, and he's stabbing George.
What?
Yeah, he's stabbing
I remember.
him.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. And
Who was it?
I don't know who he was. He was a guy who lived from Liverpool and said the night before, I'm going to murder a Beatle tomorrow. And he thought he was at Paul McCartney's house. You know, it's at George's house. And George said he didn't really know what to do. You know, he said, I jumped out of bed and tried to grab hold of him, and all I could say was, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, you know, and nothing stopped. And then he said his wife came in, and she had a poker and a lampstand, and she smacked this guy over the head like would put you through to Australia, the strength of it. It didn't even faze him.
Wow.
And it said the continual battering finally smacked this guy to bits. You know, he just was knocked out and knocked senseless. And George went to hospital and fortunately survived. He showed his scars, you know.
How many times was he stabbed?
Oh, it's about 10. Well, I don't know. That's a trivia.
Jeffrey's
How
a
many
man of
times was
details.
George stabbed on it?
Jeffrey's going to bet on the over and under.
That's right. Where were they? Above his table or below?
Oh, that's horrible.
So anyway, you know, he survived, and that was the last time I saw him. He died of cancer, you know. Great guy.
Yeah, and Clapton, man, talk about, you know, they were putting graffiti. Janine's too young to remember that Clapton is God.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, Eric Clapton was up there. I mean, people wanted to play like Clapton.
Yeah, no,
He was the guy.
Of course, I know who he is, and I am a fan. But I mean, in his heyday, I wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't. That wasn't my genre.
He's just colossal, Eric. You know, when they did the Cream revival in 2005,
There's Jack Bruce,
Eric, and Ginger Baker. He said that, you know, putting Cream back together took him a month of running shows just to get the stamina together. And, you know, I mean, that's what it takes. He's getting old, and they were great shows. You know, they were very, they were much more subdued than the early Cream, because they're not doing heroin anymore. You know, that helps. You know.
Usually.
Yeah, usually.
It helps me.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, that black tar, Janine.
Yeah.
Can't get enough.
That's right.
Oh, Lord.
Actually, you can.
Always great on a Monday, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mondays are terrible.
Terrible.
Mondays are
So,
just
yeah, I'm not
terrible.
going to promote it.
Janine's got a few questions.
I'm curious you've played with so many icons. I don't know if you could possibly narrow it down. What would be like your top 3?
Well, you know, the guy that had the most charisma, without a doubt, was with Mark Bolan with T-Rex. Get it on, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you see him get on stage, and he had a wonderful charisma. I love Bowie for the music. He was so far ahead, you know, so good. And I love the Everly Brothers. I mean, I worked with them for 13 years, and we'd go on stage, and it was a pleasure.
Yeah.
It wasn't a drag or
job,
yeah,
right?
a job.
Yeah,
like it gets.
Yeah.
I've done those
It can
job
become
shows.
mundane, yeah.
And so those three really, I suppose, off the top of my head. But there's all sorts of little albums, there's tracks you play in between the major acts that you think are wonderful, but they're not hits. see?
Right, right.
They're not hits.
But
And
I
you-
mean, the musicality of them, they are wonderful.
wonderful, it's great. You know
It's
that.
definitely worth a second, third, and fourth listening.
Yeah, you've cut tracks and they're magic.
Yeah.
When you cut them, and you think we've really done something great here. No one else is interested.
Music is so subjective,
Yeah,
So
yeah.
something like you said, it's magical for you guys, and then it comes on the air, and people are like, wah, wah.
Yeah, I know. And for the musician, unlike a painter or something, all we can say is, I did a great session yesterday, or we had a great show last night. And that's about as far as you could go. Unlike an artist who's painted it and say, this is what I thought I've been working on for 3 months,
Well, and you're phenomenal too, because not only were you a live drummer, but you were a session drummer. And people out there who don't know music don't understand there's a huge difference between those two. So for you to be able to do both of those things, that's remarkable.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's a mindset. Comes out of sheer terror,
Are
actually.
you gonna tell us the difference?
Oh, well, he's going to tell you the difference.
Well, yeah, you remember on stage you can push and shove the beat a bit and make it exciting. When you go in the studio, it's got to feel nice and it's got to be steady, and they don't need big drum fills. I mean, you don't hear much. All the great tracks is the backbeat. That's all you hear, or some little bit of toms. So you got to make it feel nice, but it's all got to be under control.
Right.
Just play it, feel it nice, and nice fills, and yeah.
I'm sure you felt it as a patron being in the audience of a live concert, right? I mean, it's a very different feel than when you're listening in your CD in the car, because obviously the adrenaline and everything, and everybody's just, I mean, there's nothing like playing to an audience of screaming people. It's just
Big buzz.
Ooh,
Big
it is.
buzz.
So, okay, one last question. If you had a theme song to your life, like I know you've been through a lot. You've been through, you've been through substance abuse, like you were talking about, and a couple marriages and stuff like that. And the road is never paved with gold, right?
That's
so,
right.
what would be the theme song to your life?
Long and winding road.
Mine too.
Not Bang a Gong.
No, we're not going to bang anything today.
The irony now recently they have a couple of radio stations in America have banned the song "Baby It's Cold Outside" because they say that the lyrical content is people are offended by it.
Why?
I have no idea. It makes no sense.
Really?
Because of
It's
the
a lovely
insinuation of maybe a roofie, or the insinuation of the hashtag Me Too thing. Yeah. So what just caught my attention is Bobby was playing the Who's Tommy, right?
Mm-hmm.
That deaf, dumb, and blind kid sure plays a mean pinball. I mean, if that was prevalent, if that came out today, I don't think it would be as well received. I think people would be highly offended.
Except for the midgets.
Except
I saw a great movie. I saw a great movie over the
Right
weekend.
along.
I saw a great movie called The Green Book.
Oh, I'm dying to see
Okay,
that.
yes,
I
right.
love Viggo Mortensen.
Yeah, it was just a fabulous movie, much better than I thought
There's
it
a
was
lot
going to be.
of controversy
About-
whether or not he'll be nominated for an Academy because of his use of the N-word in the
oh,
movie.
jeez. Get over it.
With
Yeah.
all this effing and blind.
Even though it takes place in the 60s, 70s. what is it?
Yeah, no, it's in the 60s, traveling down south.
Not that makes it any better, but
No, I
it
mean
was,
it's an ugly word, but
it's a much more
that's-
common term that was used then by white people in the South.
It
I mean,
still
it's
is
just
used.
you're depicting
I
that
know.
generation.
Well, the whole film is
accurately.
really
I
about
mean,
racism.
I
well,
know.
Then how can you not use that word if it's going to be accurate?
Well, you can't say anything without offending
I
anybody.
know.
Oh, no.
It's ridiculous.
And we just try our best to
I try
offend
every day
everybody.
to offend somebody. That's my goal.
You do it well.
I
thanks.
judge everyone.
Yeah, you're welcome to.
I'm an equal opportunist.
Well, Jeffrey, why don't we come up with a 3-team parlay? Let's get some picks for Sunday.
Well,
I'm going to take my Bears
I
for
did
the-
circle 4 games in the upcoming week that I think have big postseason and divisional implications. And the first one is right at the top of the page. The Baltimore Ravens are traveling to Kansas City to play the Chiefs. This has all sorts of implications in the AFC as a whole, but also implications for Baltimore within their own division, now that they're only a half game behind Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh is going to be on the road against the Oakland, so you're going to have to assume that the Steelers are
Who do
going
you
to
like?
bounce back. I gotta tell you, I kind of like the Ravens in this one.
You do? I would take
Yeah.
the Chiefs on that one, but
Yeah, me
I'll
too.
tell you why. The Chiefs are coming off 2 tough games. One where they lost on Monday night to a very good Rams team where they scored 105 points and lost by 3. But then they didn't look so hot yesterday in Oakland on the road again. And Baltimore's won 3 in a row, and this is a very good defense. And Lamar Jackson, the rookie out of Louisville, is playing really, really good football. And he's actually very similar to the Chiefs' rookie quarterback, Mahomes, in that big, strong kid, great arm, ability to scramble. And Kansas City doesn't have a great defense at all.
I bet on the Colts yesterday.
And a guy
that
like,
was pathetic.
how'd that work out with the big shutout?
6-0.
Against Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Terrible. That killed
yeah.
my ticket.
Yeah, well, Andrew Luck isn't so lucky sometimes.
Not that lucky. I also bet on Scam Newton yesterday.
Why would you do that? I keep telling you to stay away from him.
I know.
He's a scam.
Carolina Panthers
So I'm
against
gonna
the Browns.
take Baltimore +7 in which should be a really good game, even though Kansas City can be tough to play. The Sunday night game, the Rams are at the Bears. This could be a lot of fun, but I'm gonna take the under in this game. It's coming up right now at 52.5, I believe.
I don't know what the current one is. The
I'll tell you
the morning line was 52.5.
Okay, so we'll go by the morning line because I'm not showing an updated line right here. This game is going to be outdoor in Soldier Field. It's going to be very cold. Bears have a great defense. I don't know how they lost to the Giants yesterday in overtime. That's deplorable.
Because they didn't have their quarterback.
I have a feeling that they're going to bounce back in this one. Trubisky should play in this one. I think he's going to be back. And while the Rams are highly talented, I believe that this could be a hard-fought game in the cold in Chicago. I'm going to go under 52.5. And then the third game I like here is another NFC East divisional game, Philadelphia Eagles at the Dallas Cowboys. I just like the way the Cowboys are playing right now. I saw them beat a very good Saints team and hold Drew Brees to 10 points this week. The Eagles, I don't care what they do tonight. This is not the same team as last year. I'm going to take the Cowboys at home -4. And then Monday Night Football, we have
we're going for
Seattle
4
against
now.
the Vikings. Again, big NFC implications. Seattle's -3.5. I don't like the half point here. I would pay the extra 20 cents to buy down the line.
That's called the hook, isn't it?
It is called the hook.
Janine.
Because it usually gets you right in the mouth.
The half point is the hook.
I like the way Seattle is playing right now at home. I love Russell Wilson. Minnesota is not themselves right now. I saw them yesterday in New England. We know how hard it is to play in Seattle with the 12th man. So I'm going to take the Seahawks -3.5 on Monday Night Football.
Oh, this is good stuff. I'm having a
Good
bet.
stuff.
Tony's liking
I
this.
like this. I'm going to have a bet.
Yeah.
Well, it's like something I'd never bet, you see, so I'll have a go at it.
Well, once again, we're going to be at Amore Taste of Chicago over our Pizza and Podcast immediately after the show. If any of you are hungry and want to stop by and say hi, certainly do that. Thursday, December 13th, next Thursday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. We're going to be at Sapphire Gentlemen's Club. Tomorrow, we're going to be at Rock and Riley's, and Thursday for the pregame for the Golden Knights. Come by and say hi to that. And Janine, you're going to be out of town.
Well,
You
tomorrow's
had your
Rock and
Christmas
Riley's?
show. Yeah, tomorrow.
Tomorrow's Tuesday.
Oh, so you can join us tomorrow,
What time tomorrow?
5 p.m.
Can
Yeah.
we make it later? I'm kidding.
5:15. Is that good for you? Tony, give us one more story from the rock and roll legends.
Oh, I'm still alive. That's
Yeah,
a
you're
big
still
deal.
alive.
Still alive. Yeah,
Have you ever?
yeah.
Did you ever teach? Did you ever coach? Or did you,
No.
and your boys play drums, though, don't
Yeah,
they?
3 of them play drums. Yeah, they're doing all right without me. You know, And no one ever asked me what they should do.
Do you have like a super weird fan story that you want to share?
I'd rather not.
I mean, you know, I mean, like, people can be. In Italian we say bazzu. They're crazy, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, apparently, I don't remember this, but in the Beatles, when we did Australia with the Beatles, apparently a woman was in my room and she slashed her wrists.
What?
And I don't remember it, so God knows what I was doing.
Did you play the Cavern Club?
Yes, oh yeah, we played the
Wow.
Cabin. Yeah, yeah.
I was in Liverpool, and I
were
know
you?
they moved it. You know, so they
Yes,
they
it's
call it
a-
the Cavern Club, but it's
I was in Liverpool this year too. I went and did the tourist thing.
I did too. I went on the Magical Mystery Tour
Yeah.
bus and saw Paul's house and
Yeah,
where they
Ringo's
lived.
place. Yeah, well, my first wife was from Liverpool.
A Scouser.
The Scouser. Oh yeah. She was something else, but she was.
How'd you get rid of the body?
I did a runner. Yeah, so she was a big singer, session singer, and she'd do, during the Liverpool thing, she'd do 3 or 4 sessions a day. She was in really great demand.
Well, you've had an amazing career.
Yes, I have.
We really appreciate you being here with
Oh,
us
thank
today.
you for having me. It's been a great pleasure.
Are
Love
you
you all.
retired now, sir?
Yes.
You are retired.
Yeah.
Can't hire you.
No.
Once again, Tony Newman, everybody, Google him, check him out.
That
And
sounds
you know,
dirty.
We have one interesting NFL stat of the week. You ready?
Yeah.
Sure.
Odell Beckham Jr. of the New York Giants, their star wide receiver, has thrown 2 touchdowns over 40 yards this year. Their starting quarterback, Eli Manning, 0.
Wow.
Anyway, thank you, Janine. Thank you, Jeffrey with a G. We're going to be at Amore. Stop by, say hi, eat well, party hard, my friends. Like us and share us and like us. And as always, be nice to each
Vegas
other.
nonstop with Jonathan Scott. Vegas nonstop with Jonathan Scott and Gigi.
Very good. Well, thank you for having me.